pretty impractical edits to this portrait. So let's dial this back and talk about some practical edits for a second, and how we might approach editing this face and this portrait in general. So I'm going to get rid of both of these layers, drag those to our trash can, and then start a little bit fresh. I'm going to make a transparent layer, and I'll just call this layer skin. Now, what I was mentioning before is that the spot healing brush is my go-to number one. So I'm going to pick the spot healing brush here. I'll make sure that I have a pretty smooth edge and a specific size that's a little bit bigger than the area that I want to get rid of and change. I want to make sure that sample all layers are turned on, and I also want to get into the photograph by zooming in with Command plus. I'm holding down the space bar to navigate to where I want to begin with these edits, and what I'm going to do is just change the size of my brush again to a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to paint away some of these wrinkles. Here's a shortcut for you. If you ever want to draw a straight line, you click once with the tool, you hold down the shift key, and then you click again. And you could see that it quickly drew a straight line. That would be really good to tackle some architectural elements that you might want to get rid of, a power line, for example. But what I'm doing right now is just getting rid of some problem areas here. And what I want to do is, within the ethics of editing, is I don't want this person to change in terms of their age. I don't want this person to change in terms of their character and personality. I'm just trying to diminish the distractions of the face so that people can concentrate on the eyes. And that's something that I really am interested in more. Now, these wrinkles, the way that some of this information is coming in, it might be a little bit too strong. And so I'm just going to come in here and get rid of it. But this is really going way too far, and we can see that the character of this person is changing pretty quickly because of this, as a result of our edits. The other thing about what I'm doing here is I'm making a clockwise rotation around the face just so that I can get all of these various points out. And now there's some points, some parts of the face that you really want to address, and you might not want to get rid of them entirely, but want to get rid of them partly. And that's the strategy that we're taking here, is that if I pull back here for a moment and take a look at this face, you can see I've changed a lot, especially up here. I think we have a little problem area there. We need to do the heel brush instead. And I'll just zoom in with the heel brush, move over here, and we have a problem area that we can just source a good part of the eyebrow and then paint that away a little bit there. So for me, that's looking pretty good already, but maybe if I clone with a small brush too, it'll just get rid of some of that darkening up of that area, and then I'll come back over with the heel so it'll blend everything a little bit better to what's underneath. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now, obviously, I've gone way too far with this portrait. This subject doesn't look like their former self. They're really changed in a lot of ways. And what you want to know is about the face is that it's three-dimensional, and sometimes these editing tools cut away the three-dimensionality of a face, and it makes something look less like it is real. And that's something that we really have to be careful with when we're using these tools, because we want to go in close, we want to zoom out, we want to see what we did. Here, if I turn off the background, we can see these are all of our edits here on this face, and you can see there's quite a bit of editing that we've done. Now I'm just going to come in here and get some specific areas before we do this next technique, and that'll be something I explain in the next movie.